From Westminster is the former Conservative Chief Whip and Chair of the COVID Recovery Group, Mark Harper. He is one of those Tory rebels. Mark Harper, do you think Boris Johnson, a man who I've supported a lot in the past, and I know you have too, will finally get the message tonight? We have to learn to live with COVID.
Well, Dan, I very much hope so. I mean, what I was trying to do tonight was partly to send a message on these specific measures, and I set out in the House of Commons, I think has been represented in your report, that I'm very disappointed that in a country which is one of the best protected countries in the world by vaccination, we very quickly went into a panic and emergency mode rather than dealing with this difficulty in a more calm and measured way. I think that's been very unhelpful, and I think you've reflected that very well in your report. But coming to your question specifically, look, the Prime Minister got a very clear message this evening from around 100 Conservative MPs that they want things done differently. They want Parliament taken seriously. They want to make sure that if he does bring measures forward, that Parliament is involved, that we're, if necessary, recalled from our Christmas recess. Ministers lay out the evidence in Parliament so it can be challenged and questions can be asked. And I think that's really important, and I hope he changes his ways. We can do things so much better in the way the government is run, and I hope that's what we achieve. And the disappointing thing is that the job of opposition, and that doesn't mean necessarily voting against things, but it's the job of the Labour Party to ask questions, to challenge the government and to insist it brings forward evidence. And they've made it quite clear, even without seeing any further measures, that they'll basically vote for them, and they're just giving the government a blank cheque, and that doesn't lead to good government. Challenging and holding ministers to account is how you get good government, and that's what I and a number of my colleagues will continue to do.
Mark, do you share my fears that it feels like we're on a march towards some form of January lockdown, whether officially or by stealth?
Well, I am concerned about that, and it's one of the things I set out in my speech today in Parliament. We've got to learn how to live with this virus. It's not going away. There are some people, I understand why, who feel that if we just wait a little bit longer, it'll be sort of over. But it's not going to be over. COVID's going to be with us forever. The Chief Scientific Advisor said that. Variants are going to be with us forever, and every time we get a variant of concern, we cannot go into an emergency mode where we scare people, where we effectively shut down sectors of the economy by the back door. We can't do that. It's not economically sustainable. It's not socially sustainable. And also, we're just about to do a whole load of damage to the NHS again, because we know we're going to cancel a lot of operations. A lot of appointments with GPs are going to get cancelled for this focus on the booster programme. Now, it may be the right decision. I'm not sure what balancing has been done, but we're just about to create another backlog that's going to have to be dealt with. And I don't know whether doing all of that in order to give boosters to 20 and 30-year-olds is actually the right decision. And we've not heard any evidence spelt out in Parliament about what ministers have balanced on that equation, how they've reached that decision. I want to hear more about that. And frankly, we're going to learn more about Omicron probably every day of the next week or so. And the idea that we're going to break up on Thursday and go away for the Christmas recess for 2 weeks, I think is ridiculous. And I want ministers to commit that Parliament should be sitting if there are going to be decisions taken and information to be shared with members of Parliament.
Well, Mark Harper, you're now one of the leaders of the unofficial opposition. Thank you for rebelling tonight. That is Mark Harper, Chair of the COVID Recovery Group.